author, Jasmine Atomistic at the Crossroads, along with my co-creators.
Toshar, your transformation business coach and queen.
And I am Tony, just your humble flea market witch.
I love it. So today we are really going to dive deep into the setup of an altar. I know there's a lot of questions surrounding it. Are there certain things you should put on it? Why do we put things on it? I think we should kind of just start off with what is an altar and the purpose of it. Because a lot of people, I know in our last video, we touched on ancestral altars, but there is a difference, I think, between an ancestor altar, a working altar, maybe a money altar, and things like that. So I'll let one of you guys, whoever wants to take the lead on just kind of explaining what an altar is and why someone should have one.
Tony, you make them, so you start, honey.
All right, baby. Give me a minute. I need a drink. No, I just need some liquid.
This is about to get real good.
It's about to get real good. So let me just say to everyone out there that, we might say some, words or that you don't understand. So please drop them in the chat. We will definitely follow up as soon as we can. So thank you so much for being here, everyone. Altar setup, one of my favorite topics, because I will let you know, Jasmine, when I first start following you on your YouTube, and please go follow Jasmine if you haven't already, with One Ritual Away. She's amazing. So when I wanted to start my journey as to what the heck is going on, which, and, the question I had to myself, I really did not know, besides the ancestor altar that I had, that it was okay to have another altar. And the second altar I made was a money altar. And that has, what I love about what I do as a transformation life and business coach is that it seems that what I do for myself, I in my heart want the same for other people. And so it actually, happens. So when I want to scale my business, my clients and, the people I help scale their business. So I really feel that, thank you so much, Jasmine, for really encouraging me to come out my witchy closet. You have been tremendous. Mi casa es su casa, mi dinero es su dinero, and I owe it all to you. That's how I wanted to start this introduction, because I would have never known there were anything other than ancestor altars if it wasn't for you. And I'm sure a lot of people watching can, attest to the same thing. So get that money.
Yes.
Okay.
You ready, baby?
We have a little bit of an explanation from you. I knew if I quieted down, your ass would chime in.
You know what?
Love him.
But an altar is any place you designate to work, worship, or just venerate a god, goddess, ancestor, work a spell. You can even, I have a 6-door cabinet, and each set of doors is a different working altar. And I've got my ancestor altar right at the top. Then the main god or goddess I'm working with, or pair, share the second altar. The third altar is any working spell I'm doing. And then the fourth place is older magics that need more than 30 days to complete. So I house spells that are in jars or whatever the esoteric stuff that I'm doing needs to be housed in a dark space. I use that as another altar. So I'm gonna have my little spaces.
Yes. And I think people could check out your website. Did you put the altars that you make up on there, Tony? Because actually
some of them are.
But
mostly I make them for custom.
Well, I know I have one of yours, and so it's amazing.
Everybody that calls me, it's about a 10-minute talk.
Okay.
I get your colors, I get your stones you like, and you just wait until it shows up. And it shows up, and I have not had one returned ever.
Yeah, they're amazing. I think you were working on one more for me, Tony. Remember that one?
Yes, that is a case,
Yes.
which is going to be a travel altar.
Mm-hmm.
With all 12 gemstones to cover all 12 planets. So you can use the astrological energies of whatever deity you need. As well as it's going to have a picture Toshar provides me.
Yeah.
I'm going to have put on the outside of the case. So if she wants, so she has something specific and her intent is in there instead of just me and my intent on creating it for her.
Yes. And let me just say one thing, because Tony, I'm just going to say this because sometimes when Tony makes things, I will say this, everything Tony makes it works. Just like whatever direction Jasmine gives you, it works. However, people have to learn to be patient because, you have some people, when Tony makes stuff, he really invests his money into it to see what products work. Some things don't go well with my briefcase. The material is older material, and sometimes the material he uses does not work well. So he has to find other materials to get what I want. So in the process, please be patient with Tony if you're making an order, because he does communicate with you very well and let you guys know what's happening, what's not. All right.
And I only create based on the cycles of the moon.
Right. So, it's a process.
If it's for a witchy purpose, it literally, I find the full moon. And at exactly midnight on a full moon is when I work on any sort of altar.
Right.
I line them up on an 8 or 16-foot table and I start working on them.
Right. So it's a process. So just be patient, please. But it's worth it.
It's usually a couple weeks unless it stumps me.
Mm-hmm.
And yours stumped me because trying to work with a piece of luggage.
Well, we thought of the concept. I was like, you know what? I want to travel. Like, I already have the altar board he made out of cherry wood. I have one that's made out of cherry wood. And it's beautiful. But I said, you know what? When I start traveling, I want to be able to have something I could click it up, pop it open. I'm in business, like pop-up shop, honey, in the briefcase.
I like that idea. So, okay, hold on. Is it like a carry-on or does it go in your suitcase?
Yeah.
No, it'll be a carry-on suitcase.
I went to a thrift shop, bought one of those old suitcases that has the latches and it was blue. And it's empty. And we just came up with the idea where I could just have an altar in there, build a little shelf inside, like a little holding spot stuff for things. And just keep it moving, honey. Yes.
I love that idea. And for people who travel a lot and want to take their magic with them, Tony, we need you.
Yeah, the furniture thing and the customization of this, literally, I tripped over and did it. I did. Wow. I just, a friend of mine, I did some work for her and her husband to help them because he wasn't feeling that great. So I helped them get all his, line up everything he needed legally. And she gave me, as a gift, a couple pieces of wood. And I'm like, I can see what these would be. So in the end, I ended up turning them into a Ouija board.
I don't like Ouija boards, Tony.
So, and then she went to an auction and found a table. And it turned out that table was supposed to have a Ouija board on it.
That was a beautiful table. That was a beautiful.
Yeah, that table was on point.
That table's in the video we did on Journey Seekers by Toshar, if anyone wants to look at it. No, I'm sorry.
I don't think
it is.
If not, I'll put it on the
put it on your website. I don't think because
I'll actually put it on Real Talk with Witches.
Yeah, I'm so allergic. Look at that. Yeah, I'm so allergic to Ouija boards. It's not even funny, so I don't even think.
Oh, we'll get you there, babe.
Oh no,
that's interesting. I have a Ouija board under my bed.
Dang.
Child, I have one under the head of my bed, and it was my grandma's. It's old, and the ball buster is every time my husband's gone under the bed, it's gone.
So can I ask that question since we're talking about altar setup? And I don't like saying the word. I mean, doesn't Ouija board, isn't that like an altar? And doesn't it have a different energy than other ones? Because that one has some crazy stuff in it, like some real exorcist stuff. I don't like Miss Maggie doesn't do windows. I'm that passionate about not having one. I'm good. Like
You are a window
I haven't
baby.
even touched one in my entire life.
We are all witches are windows into the world that we cannot see. It's the matter of being able to open and close the window that some are better at than others and some are not.
I don't want to do Ouija board. I think it's like having that one experience about stuff it's a different world. I agree with you, Tony. It's just that it's tea. I need to drink some tea. I just don't want to talk about it. It's that bad for me.
Well,
But that's just a piece of furniture that I do make.
That's the point. That's the point.
I agree they're altars and they're not toys. I'll tell you that much.
They're
But they
not.
are very useful tools when they're used properly and treated with respect.
Oh, the reason why I say that is because, I always watch the movie The Exorcist, and that's how that movie started. When she started peeing on herself on that rug, is when her and her mama was playing with that Ouija board.
Oh my God. You just reminded me of that. And I remember since the day I watched that, I said, you know what? I'll take that little girl by the back of the head and rub her nose in it like you would do a dog.
Yeah,
and that has stuck with me ever since the day I seen that.
Yeah,
every time I see that movie, I say the same damn thing, and it's stuck with me.
It stuck with me too, to the point where I never wanted to touch a Ouija board in my entire life when I saw that movie. And I used to be in Catholic school from kindergarten, as everybody know, I said this before, to college. And I worked closely with John Cardinal O'Connor. And someone on the news asked him, hi, I know who that is. Someone asked.
It's the neighbor.
Yes, the neighbor that makes the food at the market, at the flea market. And someone asked John Cardinal O'Connor, God bless his soul, I love my ancestors, is what you do with the exorcism anything compared to the movie The Exorcism? And he politely told that news reporter, that is Hollywood. I was good.
It's something totally different, baby.
I was good.
We'll cover that for episode 16.
You do that.
We'll just cover basics, baby.
Yes,
that's some funky shit
so,
right there.
So I have two altars. I've had multiples, but I have two. I have a money altar.
You got one behind you, baby.
Altar. Yeah, this is my prosperity altar. My working altar is over here, and it's kind of I call it the community altar because it's not dedicated to any specific deity or, it's just a free for all. But in altar setup, people get so hung up on what to put on the altar. And I mean, to me, I feel like you want to have your basic elements, but for somebody starting out, how essential do you guys think are your altar tools? Because I feel like, again, there's no right or wrong way, but it is necessary. I mean, what do you guys feel about that? Or are there some things, this is what I should say. Do you guys agree or disagree that there are some very specific things an altar should or must have to be effective?
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody type it in the chat if they agree too. Let us know and why. Type that in the chat. Let us know. We'll see the feedback later, but we'll definitely respond.
I would go with bell, book, and candle. Basic.
Okay.
Basic. Bell, book, and candle, babe. You need a candle for all your magics.
Yeah.
You need a book to either write in the magic you're going to do or to follow along, which would be a book of shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Or you need the bell for the sound, the chime that invites the ancestors in or the deity into your sacred space, and work with it.
I agree. There's a little bit more, but
I'm keeping it simple, babe.
Yeah, the bell.
AISS.
Yeah, yeah. Keep it simple, sweetheart.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I mean, that's a good, the bell is a great point. I used to have a bell. I don't have a bell, but a bell is a
Mine's
great
about
point.
2 inches tall, that bell I have. Just keep it smaller.
A little bell.
No.
I'm gonna get me a bell today. Pick up bell. I feel like, and so my kind of baseline magic has always been earth based. So my altars are typically set up, I don't want to say traditional, but they have the four elements. So water, a cauldron, a representation of earth, whether that's salt or a crystal or a plant or whatever, an athame, a wand, and, typically a pentacle or whatnot. So that's kind of that's my basic. But I know there's so many other different ways, especially depending on the tradition or area of magic or spiritual system that one works with. So with those, because I know we all practice a little differently. And I hear you, Tony, like keep it super simple. Maybe, but Toshar, are those elements that you have on your altar? Any of those things? Without going into what's on your altar.
Right,
No,
right.
you have to keep it simple, baby.
Different for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
The basic is definitely number one, water.
Yeah.
Definitely a candle. And depending on which tradition you're under, which is different African spiritual practices I'm referring to, there are things that's prepared for your altar and that are blessed. So those are different things that it's more intricate system, depending on which one you're in. But it will have, like you said, that baseline of that water, that conduit, for spirit, for that candle. The same thing, as we all know, magic is, far in tradition, goes way back to African spiritualism. So with that, it's really about earth, like you said, Jasmine. It's about the four elements. For me, I also add into another element of feng shui, because I have, my grandmother, her grandparents, they were Asian, so they helped build the transatlantic, sorry, railroad. No, not transatlantic. That's the slave trade. The transcontinental.
The Silk
No.
Railroad.
No, it's the transcontinental railroad that crosses from New York to California. When they started building railroad, my Asian grandparents helped build that. So from me, I have some Asian artwork, near and stuff like that. So because I'm pulling in that feng shui energy.
Beautiful. That's a great reference point to bring up feng shui. My altar is actually sitting in the prosperity corner of my house, and that wasn't on purpose. That just happened to be the floor plan, and this was the only space that could accommodate this piece of furniture to sit it on. And so when I looked at the bagua, I was like, well, what do you know? The altar fits right in the corner that it's supposed to be on.
Nice.
Well, I'm what you call controlled chaos, baby. My altar goes wherever my heart tells me it's supposed to go at that exact moment. I move my bedroom around with my moods. And the damn altar might be in a closet for a couple months until I decide it needs to be seen. Because I like my altar in that thing I was telling you about, that cabinet. Because some have doors that you can poke your fingers through, where if I'm lighting incense, it can seep out like it's supposed to. Others I've tinted, so you can't see what's in there like you ain't supposed to. Because sometimes they need to be in the dark, at least other people.
What's you guys' opinion on people seeing your altars?
50-50. Depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And which altar.
Yeah, I feel.
Yeah, I don't.
If it's just a generic one, I don't see the problem. If it's something specific for a specific religious practice, It needs to be between you and the person you're worshiping.
Right. And that's why I came up with the idea for the travel briefcase one. Because even the one with the oak, cherry oak, I'm looking at is gorgeous. I would love to show you guys it, but I just simply can't. So I said,
See, but I got to see it.
because you made it. You made it. So, and it's beautiful. And I really
when I'm making an altar for somebody, nobody else gets to see it other than me and the person it's meant for.
right. And so what I started doing was teaching my future legacy how to read tarots on it. So now it's an heirloom, because when I pass on, you know, I taught her and her God-given talents on it. So I already knew I couldn't bring it out after that, because we have put our energy in there. She'll remember that forever. So that's when I came up with the idea that when I'm traveling, I was going to use that one that Tony made for me as a traveling one. That piece of wood is heavy. So I said,
like Toshar, I can take a picture of it when I put the piece of thing in it with its gemstones, but not when it's finished.
no, I just wanted for my clients and I to see, because I have to reset it. So even the travel one, I just only want the peak, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel people could see stuff, you know, and put stuff.
They don't know what they're doing with it half the time.
But what I'm saying is, you know, just like there's some certain people, you know, who don't want or cannot be, you know.
Some things cannot be seen by others without permission.
Yeah, so don't take a picture of mine. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I asked. But I can take a picture and send it to your butt so you can let me know how it's looking.
I want to be surprised, Tony. You know, I love everything that you made. I want to be surprised. I want to open it up and it's like that.
But you got homework
come out.
By next Friday, I need some sort of artwork from you.
I'll give you artwork. I gave you the artwork, okay?
Yeah, because I need to have that scared white man behind me stop printing for me. You know, the one I went messing with the back of his neck and scratching his back while I had the nails on me last weekend.
You were so bad. You were so naughty.
I love scaring white men. I really do.
Jasmine, take over, Jasmine.
As you guys are talking about the briefcase altar idea, what came to mind was like, this brings new words to witching in the closet for people like literally maybe their living situation isn't conducive to have a permanent altar set up, but they still want something that they can bring out, do their work, tuck away, don't have to worry about other people seeing it, or just something that doesn't take up a lot of space, you know, depending on maybe you live in a dorm or something like that, and you just don't have the space to put a full table there and work. So I love that idea, and we'll make sure that Tony's links and everything are down in the description for anyone.
I will make another one, FYI, so all the viewers that are watching, I will make another one, has an example for y'all to look at. Over the next 2 weeks, I will post a picture in Real Talk for Witches with a link to the website if you need to talk to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yay, I'm excited because I have an idea what it looks like, but I can't wait to see one that you've actually created. So that's amazing.
I got one up in my booth that has a Ouija board on one side and a working altar on the other. Wow. I made it out of an old wine box. It didn't come out right, but it's an example.
I mean, I'm sure it's beautiful. I'm sure it came out the way it was supposed to. So I'll get with you later so I can look at it.
It's got dimples in it. I'm like, I'm not right.
It sounds beautiful. So I think we're all in agreement about eyes on the altar. That's depending.
Situational, baby.
Situational, yeah, absolutely. So here's my thing. And this is what I hear a lot. People set up an altar, and it's like, to me, an altar, it's living. It's alive. Once you set it up and you've blessed it and you've put candles and you've done a ritual and you've dedicated its space, to me, it's a living energy. You can't just walk by the thing, you know, you have to actually work at your altar. So I know this question may be subjective to people's lifestyle and everything, but how often do you think someone should spend at their altar and maintenance wise?
I think whatever you do, what you can do, because I know people are so busy, just be consistent. That's the key. So everyone's different. For me, they're a vortex for me. I could sit
Mm-hmm.
there 5:45 in the morning and don't start my workday till 9 o'clock. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, where did the time go? Depending on which altar I'm at. But another one, I could just set it up and it does what it does and it do what it do, like Tony's resin, baby. But at the end of the day, you have to nurture them, definitely, but just be consistent. Even with African spiritual practices, there are altars that you cannot let get hot. You have to cool it down and monitor it. So that's a whole nother world of a
Mm-hmm.
dynamic of a conversation, because it deals with balance, so it deals with
Gotta make sure the yin and yang is right, baby.
exactly.
Hot and
So
cold,
right.
light and soft.
So right. So when you get into those more advanced altars, as we're talking about, you have to make sure you do that, because you don't want something to get hot and now you're wondering why your energy and stuff is popping off, and you don't want it to get cold where stuff is not activated to happen when it's supposed to happen. So it's diligence. It's a lifestyle for me. It's diligence, but it's consistency, which is key.
Yeah, I like the way that you put that. And I mean, I think I have a little bit of an understanding what you mean by get hot. I mean, I clean my altars 1 to 2 times a month, like new moon, full moon,
Right.
depending on how much I've been working at it and what I've been doing.
Right. Yeah, me too.
So, yeah, I
I'm
think
kind of
altar
on the other
maintenance is
spectrum,
important.
darlings.
Okay.
Just because I work with so many different things,
Mhm.
I clean my altars I follow the witch's calendar. So every season, I clean my altar. One of those major cleanings, I hose down everything that can be hosed down, bless everything that needs to be re-blessed piece by piece once every season. And then I go by my feeling as far as if I need to change it or throughout the season or add to it. I'm always adding, baby.
Mhm.
And speaking about altars, thanks to your advice, I came up a little bit. So I blessed my ancestors and a new altar that I just created
Mhm.
with a nice piece of selenite sword.
Nice. Well, speaking of which, with the ancestors, although I said that about the other altars, the ancestors, they come first, they get special treatment. So
Mhm.
they are regularly more than the other ones refreshed regularly. I eat, they eat first, that type of deal. You have to make sure it's clean at all times. You have to make sure that the water is clear so you can get a clear message. I mean, I wouldn't drink out of a dirty cup, neither do they. I wouldn't drink, murky water, neither would they. And I believe, I'm going to be honest with you, I think that was the link, Jasmine, when I watched the show. And be sure to watch Jasmine's show, One Ritual Way, YouTube channel, where she does have an episode where she does talk about ancestral altars. And I can't remember, Jasmine, correct me if I'm wrong, on the title of like how you treating your ancestors or you treat
Mhm.
it was one of those. And so that was the connection, Jasmine, when I knew it was okay to combine what was calling to me as far as alchemy and witchery and magic. And that's when I discovered through your guidance that you can combine the two. So that's when I went like, I was in heaven after that, because you really led me down that road to know that it was possible. So thank you again, Queen. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I like that you brought up offerings also, because I feel like, to me, that's another kind of consistent, to me, it's a tool. So I have offerings on my altar all the time, whether it's always water, but I will put a piece of fruit up there. I kind of look at my different tools. Like to me, incense can be an offering.
I use them a lot, baby.
Can be an offering. Yeah, they can be offerings. I mean, I keep fruit on this altar all the time. So are there, and I won't even ask that because we already, I was gonna say, are there any right or wrong offerings to keep on the altar? But again, I think that's subjective to the person in practice.
Well,
unless you guys feel differently.
It's subjective, but one thing I will say, that
ancestors love liquor, baby. Doesn't care what religion they were in life. When they're old and gone to the next spiritual plane, they love some liquor.
Yes. What I will say in certain traditions, statues, to me, those are altars as well. Like you have your Gitana, who is the image of the fortune teller. You know, she comes as a miniature head statue with a crystal ball. However, when you get into certain statues like that, you have to know the tools that they work with. So you can be guided when they send you the messages and have a good, how can you say, a good connection with the tools that they represent. Like, for example, Shango, yes, he's represented and characterized, and that you have to be careful sometimes too with Orishas, where they're characterized as, you know, maybe a double axe, you know, sword, but it's a symbolism. So please educate yourself on and learn about the power behind the symbolism. You also, for an example, the Lama Dama, she's another one that's popular. And there's different ones, you know, there's a Congo one. There's so many different ones, that protector ones. But the point of the matter is you have to supply her with tools that, you know, she comes out the box. She doesn't have these tools. So these are little investments, like we said in our previous recording, when you're starting out, which on the budget, when we talked about that, you know, some people say, oh, you don't need anything to start, you know, as a witch. Sometimes you do. And so I don't want that to get misunderstood, because some people say, oh, connect with nature. Yeah, that's when you're starting out. However, when you start to have different entities that attract to you, you're going to start to have these tools. Like I said, with the Lama Dama, you have to have certain tools for her to do what she needs to do with you. So just don't think it stops there. Start to push the envelope beyond the natural divination tools that's out there, and start to associate the power of these tools behind the altars, so you could get the maximum results that you're looking for.
To elaborate a little bit more on what you said, the tools are a gateway for the energy that you're trying to receive.
Absolutely. That's what I was trying to say.
I just dumbed it down, baby.
Keep it simple, sweetheart.
Exactly, baby.
That both are nicely put, and I think it helps people to kind of understand and consciously connect to the importance and reasoning behind having certain tools on your altar to amplify the energy behind that, and simply aiding in your magic and helping you connect to the spirit realm, the ethers, or wherever you're traveling during your work. So that is that's helpful, I think. I know it's a lot of information, but I think it's helpful, and it gives people sort of a direction of where to go. What about pictures on the altar? Not ancestral. So I feel like you should have, if you're doing work for yourself, I know people do ancestor altars. I'm like, what about honoring yourself? I've told clients, put a picture of you up there. You're doing things to enrich your life and to improve your circumstances and manifest certain things. Why not give yourself some offerings spiritually? I don't know if that's weird or not, but I feel like it's a way of
you know what, people do it and they don't know that they do it, and it's called a vision board.
That's true.
But if you tell them that, they, you know, they say some people, not to put anyone down, but mainstream would not give credit to the fact that that vision board is you manifesting what you want, and that is an altar. But I ain't want to gossip.
It's one that sits on the wall instead of.
But it's still an altar.
Yeah, exactly. An altar is whatever you can focus your energy with. Everything can be a tool. You just need to know how to use it.
And people use that collectively, and they use collective energy when they're creating it with other people. And it's an altar.
I like that. So I have a vision board, and I keep it on my altar unless I have company. I move it and I put it away. But most of the time, 90% of the time, my vision board is out and it sits right on my altar, and I look at it and I walk by it. I'll be like, "What up, y'all?" Talking to myself.
I haven't done one of them since I was like 10.
Well, I mean, we all know it works. That goes without saying. But I will say I've noticed, I mean, things that I put on my vision board have shown up in 1 to 2 moon cycles, if that.
Mm-hmm. One thing I do know that is important for altars that should be episode number 8, after the love, sex, and magic, which is episode number 7, darling. So make sure you stay tuned.
Yes, I'm gonna thrive for that one.
I'm gonna keep quiet on that one, but episode number 8 should be about petitions, because that's another secret ingredient you need for your altar. Jasmine is the expert on it. So Jasmine, take it away.
Absolutely. I mean, petitions are you sending out into the universe, placing your order essentially for what it is that you want. So you could have all the tools, you could light all the candles, you could sit there in meditation, but the universe can read your spirit, right? But the universe doesn't necessarily speak English per se, and a petition puts you in that energetic alignment with what it is that you're asking for. So I think petitions are absolutely necessary. And there is, now this I will say, there is a proper way to construct one. And we'll cover that in that video, because your petition writing will make or break the results that you get.
Absolutely.
And I testify to that, so it's very important to know how to do it effectively.
To do it right, but they're just shy on wording.
True. Or
because your wording is very important.
Absolutely.
Be careful what you use for words, because it might bite you in the ass.
Yeah. And if you're extra excited for everyone who's watching to understand what Jasmine's talking about, please, before we start our Real Talk with Witches episode 8 for the petitions and discussion about it, sorry about that, go to Jasmine's One Ritual Away, because she has plethora of information just to get you warmed up until we do our conversation about petitions and Real Talk with Witches. That will at least give you a little bit of great foundation, so you could, be on point as to when we start saying certain things. And, it sounds kind of odd starting to break into stuff like this, but Jasmine just eases you right in perfectly. So check out her videos on writing petitions.
Could you link one of the videos of yours that pertains to petitions and put it on Real Talk with Witches group?
So we'll drop it in the chat.
Yeah,
we'll drop it in the chat.
Okay.
This way, they have a direct link to actually view the series that you have.
Yeah.
If they need a little bit more clarification before they just watch our episode.
Yep. Okay. So I'll drop it in the chat for everyone.
That's I, on the other hand, don't do any of these videos. I'll stick with y'all. I am going to be possibly doing some actual live spell work on Twitch.
Actually, you're giving the whole thing away, Tony. We're supposed to be doing workshops, so.
No. This is just one.
Oh.
Just a little hint. And I will be showing my whole body up to my nose and below for this video.
Okay. But I know
it's gonna be a doozy, baby.
I know that Real Talk with Witches, Tony likes to just let the cat out the bag, baby. So
I ain't letting nothing out the bag, baby. I got everything locked up, just where it belongs.
We're also doing, just so you guys can get ready, all right, to manifest, we will start holding workshops. So that's something to look forward to from us to you, and we will let you guys know more about that in a near coming future.
Yes, very, very, very excited. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we covered a lot. I think we've given everybody a good platform at least a foundation on how to set up their altar and what should be on there. Are there any final thoughts?
I will say this. I will link 2 pictures of, one is a very complicated altar and the other one is a keep it simple altar. Just a diagram to give y'all a pop-off point on the Real Talk with Witches. And it's directly from my book of
Perfect.
Shadows.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited to see that. So we'll make sure everybody, we have a Facebook group, Real Talk with Witches. The link will be in the description box below. So go ahead over there, send a request to join, and that way you can get some of our kind of private content that we don't have the privilege to share here on the video, but you guys can see it there in the group.
Absolutely. And when you guys get ready to apply it to your business, then you come over to Toshar and we'll do the business magic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right,
You
my
need
love. I
love
think
magic.
that's all
You can
for
come see
now.
me, baby.
Huh?
Yes. Go
Love
ahead,
magic's
Tony.
My love magic's my own little thing, baby.
That's a next episode.
Yes, baby, and we will explain
That's number
in
7.
good depth, baby.
Oh no, I'm gonna keep quiet on that one.
And we're gonna rate that episode 21 plus.
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited. Well,
Just got me a hot flash.
Thank you guys for joining. This has been amazing. Thank you to everyone who tuned in for today's episode number 4. We have lots of juicy content coming up, so make sure to like our video, share, subscribe, and join our Facebook group, Real Talk with Witches. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye, baby.